Hello there and welcome to episode number 6 of the Nothing But Respect podcast season 2. Nothing But Respect is a podcast brought to you by Hill Media. I'm ocbhoy and today I'm joined by brucehillbhoy. It comes the day after Celtic were defeated 2-0 by Borussia Monchengladbach on match day 3 of the Champions League campaign. Bruce, how you doing?
Alright, not too bad considering last night's disappointment.
Aye, so we'll get straight on it. Celtic came up against German opposition at Celtic Park in match day 3. Coming off the back of a massive high from the great performance they put in against Manchester City, which had been followed up with a few domestic wins. What did you make of the team that was picked, and was there any surprises for you? It was the exact same 11 that started against Man City. Any surprises?
No, I wasn't surprised at all with the starting 11. That was exactly what I thought it would have went with. Kind of just like automatically you bring back Toure for these big games, and glad that he stuck with Gordon. I think Gordon's kind of finally number one again, which is good to see. But no surprise. Like, didn't think he would have changed it, for Man City. I thought that is basically their strongest 11, I'd imagine.
Aye, I think a few people, I think the only possible question that people were asking was Simunovic and Sviatchenko had been playing domestically. Did you think Simunovic was unlucky to miss out, or even at the expense of possibly Sviatchenko, or do you think it was just straightforward enough for Toure and Sviatchenko to be the back two?
I think Big Jozo can count himself unlucky because he has played well, but the way that it seems to be the big games he goes with Toure and Sviatchenko, I think long term everybody's the secret's out the bag that it's going to be Jozo and Sviatchenko long term, but I think short term Toure is, for me, he's the best option there. So Jozo can count himself unlucky, but I doubt he would have been having to go for any shot counselling that was the back to it.
I agree. So move on to the game. What did you make of it? Oh, just as a brief outline, what did you make of the game?
I thought it was a poor performance for Celtic. Really, I was more disappointed than anything else. But like a burst ball last night and this morning. I thought Celtic would be up for it the way they were against Man City. It was just a performance that reminded me of Europe last year and Lennon's last season, where kind of 5 minutes into the game you just kind of knew it wasn't going to be a good night, and that was meant to be there. They were meant to be there with half a team, so kind of dreading the fact that they're going to have a full team when we go back to Gladbach. But it was just a bad night at office for everybody, I think.
I'd said to you the night before, or maybe even the morning there, that I didn't like how confident I was, because I felt everything was just too set up for Celtic to go and get that win. I think Celtic have been playing well. Mönchengladbach they're struggling domestically as well as losing the first 2 games. But I've got to say, I thought Borussia were excellent. As much as Celtic were bad, I thought Borussia were. To be fair, I didn't give them enough respect, and I think it just showed that you're not going to get a bad team who finishes fourth in the Bundesliga.
No, they were good. They were good, but I think we want to focus on Celtic. It was just I thought the first half, certainly we made them look good at times, but they are a good team. You can't really take that away from them. Obviously, they've got a good squad, they're well coached, but it was just, I just think Celtic were far too complacent on the night.
Aye, I think it was just a bit disappointing that Celtic, like you say, this wasn't. I think you could even go back to Lincoln and that and say that this performance, in a lot of ways, it wasn't even as. It was worse than that. Obviously, Lincoln was a terrible result in the first leg, but as it was Rodgers' first game, he sort of got away with it. But this one was, like you say, it was just similar to seasons by, and I think a lot of us thought that Rodgers had possibly eradicated that type of performance from the team. But I think I know the players are the ones getting paid thousands a week, but the fans almost felt it as well. And I don't know, because I've got a theory that the City game was obviously an excellent atmosphere, but I think that was a lot of things combined. It was like Celtic's first game back in the Champions League after 2 years. It was an English team we were playing. It was Rodgers' first Champions League game, and I think that made for such a special atmosphere. And I think last night was always going to be a letdown. No, a letdown, that's probably too harsh, but a come down even.
No, I think the Man City game, before the game, the atmosphere was great. The roar as the Champions League tune started was brilliant for what I heard on the telly. The difference between the games was we never scored early. I've seen a lot of people online criticise the crowd, people saying that they were at the game and they thought it was a bad atmosphere, but the team have got to it goes both ways. Celtic scored early against Man City and it made for the way type of game it was, made for a great atmosphere, whereas the Celtic fans seen their team go toe-to-toe with a team that were expected to get hammered off us. Last night was meant to be it's meant to be the team you're closest to in the group. It's meant to be the team that you can evenly match with. And we were like, and they've got half their team missing, so you're thinking, well, obviously they're not going to have many bad players, but you want to see us play. We should be beating them. If we take ourselves seriously, we should have been beating Gladbach last night. That's taking nothing away from Gladbach, who are obviously a very good team, but when you're fourth seed and you play the team after the third seed at home, you think, well, especially if they've got so many key players missing, we should be good at winning it. The atmosphere just never really the team never really gave the fans any reason to kind of build the atmosphere up. Right? A couple of boys kept going the whole night. The Green Brigade section and the Starry section and that, they were brilliant kind of for most of the night, but you can't really turn around and say the atmosphere was bad and the team just never really get going. I think the team never gave the crowd anything to take it up for, and the thing that annoyed me was just how easy it was for Gladbach to knock the ball out, whereas they get stuck in with Man City, and it was kind of like, I don't know if the team just thought, because they get the job done against Man City, Gladbach would come and, with Gladbach would change their game. No team has got to change their game to play against Celtic in Europe, that just, the days are not here anymore, so I was a bit disappointed in Celtic. I just thought they were dead naive, and I thought Rodgers was naive. Not necessarily the team, I just thought the whole team just didn't turn up, and bar maybe one or two exceptions, everybody had done half night.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I remember before the Man City game, Charlie Nicholas was speaking about how if Celtic want to ever get back up the European ladder, they've got to stick to Rodgers' philosophy and they've got to keep going at it. And I think that was the most disappointing thing for me last night, was the fact that we didn't play the way we'd been playing. Even obviously stuff doesn't come off, but everything, the team, even say the Motherwell game on Saturday when we were only 1-2-0, Celtic were still brilliant. It was it was absolutely nothing. The defence took a bit of a hammering last night off a few fans, but I was very, very disappointed with us going forward. I think we could possibly take Sinclair's chance at the end of the first half aside. We probably didn't have a clear-cut chance. Sviatchenko put one over the bar from had one deflected over the bar from the corner, but apart from that, I don't think the Gladbach keeper had the save to make.
No, it was very disappointing, and it felt like an away game at times, with the way. It was like, well, I think it was one in the second half just after Gladbach scored, and they were just, no, it was the first half, and they were just knocking the ball about the back, across the field and all that, as if, midfield was just nowhere to be seen. I've not really got a good word to say about any of them. I played in the midfield last night. We were badly let down by everybody. I thought defence were badly let down. It was a bit of a reality check though, let's be honest. I think everybody's saying we're going to go to 1 point now, you know what I mean? So, whereas 2 days ago, even as 24 hours ago, me and you were discussing the prospect of Man City getting a down in Barcelona and us beating Gladbach and maybe putting them.
I think, I don't think we'll finish on 1 point, but that's just my view, and I think I'll come on it in a bit, but I just think that it's sort of, in a weird way, it might come back to help Celtic, because I think we'll be expected to get fully hammered on in Germany and the rest of the campaign, but we'll come on to that. Right, so talking about the game again, What did you make of the goals we conceded? Obviously, Colo Touré held his hands up in the post-match interview and took the blame for the 2 goals. Are you laying the blame at Colo?
Aye, Touré was at fault for both goals, and 100% Touré, in my opinion. But it's no, I'm not digging at him. He, as you say, he came out and said it was his fault, and that's good enough for me. No worries about him in the future. He still had a couple of great tackles in the first half. He still had a couple of great bits of play. He just didn't, it's funny, I thought the defence played well. Well, I thought the 2 centre-halves played well in the first half. I thought Tierney was as bad as I've ever seen him. Just thought he kept losing the winger. And then he was he was Martin Sviatchenko's guy half the time. And every time Gladbach were getting in, it's maybe Tierney's issue. I thought anyway. And then, but for the first goal, Touré he's got to either see it out, or he shouldn't be getting beat for strength. I just thought he should have booted it. Rosehead, they can't score for Rosehead. Just getting rid of it. Second goal, he's dilly-dallying. The boy should just get rid of it. I know he's trying to keep the ball, but one thing that did annoy me was, I don't know if it's us, but I just never think our deepest player should have the ball at the back. You know what I mean? Like, Touré gave that ball away about 40 yards out, 40, 50 yards out, and the guy had just green space to run into, and we were all playing catch-up. I'd like to see maybe when Touré's get the ball, Sviatchenko sat back, and because it was a couple of times where we get caught, and I'm thinking, well, why is the deepest player get the ball? Somebody should be there just in case he gives it away. But I'm not worried about Touré. Still a man in my opinion.
No, I'm not worried about him either, but I think I can't disagree with what you says. I'm going to stick up for Tierney a bit, because I think last night, that was right down my side, so I seen how many times they were getting down him, and he did get caught out a few times, but I felt, you're saying he was Martin Sviatchenko's man, I actually thought he was a bit left short on his own from Sviatchenko and Sinclair. Felt he didn't get much protection at all, in I've always enjoyed relationships in the past, even though back to Nakamura and Telfer, where your left mid goes back up your left back and vice versa. And I just felt Tierney was very exposed, and sometimes they had 2-3 men going at him, and I think that sort of disappointed me as well, because Tierney's going to always give his all, but I just felt he wasn't helped out too much for his team last night.
No, I don't disagree necessarily, but I thought the first 10 minutes Gladbach get through 3 times, and it was doing that side every time, and it's. I know you were at a game, but we were watching it in Hussein. Every time the boy in the left get the left back went, every time he picked the ball up, the boy out Tierney's side was completely unmarked. And I didn't think Gladbach were mad attacking last night. I thought they kept a decent enough system, but usually you expect Tierney to be, as you say, he's all. You can't fault his effort. I just thought last night, I just thought it was as bad as I've seen him in a while, and I thought, Sinclair, he could have dragged him back, but Sinclair's in the team to link up with Dembele, to be honest, no really, Tierney. I'm not digging Tierney, I still think he's a great player. Just thought last night was as poor as I've seen him in a long time.
Another man who'd been in for some criticism of some people on social media, and some at the game I'm sure as well, was Sviatchenko. A lot of them are starting to question whether he's good enough at this level. I've got my own opinion, I think it's pretty similar to yours, but what do you make of Big Eric?
It's funny because he made a couple of great tackles last night, and I thought he was probably the best player on the night, but there is times where he just lets you still down, the one in the first half where Beaton, he did it and it fell to the Gladbach player, kind of through and goal and we got back well. Sviatchenko's watching that, right? He can see it happening, and so he sees Beaton stretching free, right? He's got to be aware that Beaton will probably header the ball backwards towards him, but he steps out and it goes right over him. You think, see if he's watching, he should just stand where he is. The ball get put, but I like Sviatchenko. Like I've always liked him since he came in. I thought he was no nonsense. He reads the game really well. People, as I say, Celtic defence are the only defence we get criticised for catching players offside, and like I really like Sviatchenko as a player. I've got no questions about his ability. I think he's a great player. And last night he was Celtic's best player. I don't think that was saying much, but for my money, he was Celtic's best performer last night.
I thought he was good as well, but I don't know. That's why I raised the question earlier, where it was just straightforward that it was him that Toure was going in way rather than Jozo. But I like him as well, and until I see much different, I'm still going to back him, because same as a lot of fans, I see that as a partnership going forward that will be Sviatchenko and Jozo. Right, let's move a bit further up the pitch, because this is where I had a lot of criticism for our team last night. Just in front of the defence, you've got Brown, Beaton, Tom Rogic a bit further ahead of him. For me, Neil Beaton was absolutely shocking. I've never been, saying that, that's a lie. In his first proper season, I thought he was great, but see, for about a year and a half, I've just been so bemused by what he brings to the team. I don't think he offers much at all going forward, and for a big 6 foot Israeli guy who you'd expect to be hard on the tackle, he's not that either. And I felt in the short space of time that Callum McGregor was on the pitch, he'd done easily 3-4 times as much as what Beaton had done in the previous 60. What did you make of the midfield?
I can't agree with your McGregor point. I thought Scott Brown was worse. I don't think Beaton was the worst player in the fact last night. I don't think it was great by any stretch. He had a really poor game, but I thought Brown and Rogic were the weak links last night in the midfield. Brown just he lost every tackle. He just held on to the ball too long. He never got close. Beaton did have a poor game. Just far too slow at times. But for me, the main culprit is Rogic. I love Rogic. I think he's a great football player. But he's the most frustrating football player I've seen in a long time. It's 3 or 4 times last night to get the ball, and him and Beaton link up well, right? He had a couple of 3 passes last night, don't get me wrong. And Rogic is great. His pass to Sinclair was world class. But sometimes he just wins the ball, and you think, and you can see he play development, and you think, just play it to somebody. And he holds on it, and he tries to do a wee flick or a turn, and he gives it away, and the crowd all clap because he's a good player. He was unlucky, at least he's trying stuff. But there was 4 times in that first half last night where he had men running to Forrest, and he couldn't find James Forrest for toffee last night. What was his problem with just giving Forrest the ball? And then a couple of times the first half were Breton, and he had passes on, he's just holding on it, and then he's trying to turn, and I just passed the ball, and it really held us up 3 or 4 times. But as you say, I don't agree with McGregor. I thought when McGregor came on, he was just the same. When he gave it, he ran about 10 yards just to get the ball away at one point.
I know his very first pass went to Gladbach, but I thought after that he came into the game, and I'm no Callum McGregor's biggest fan, I never have been, but I just felt it just sort of, the one thing we lacked a bit, especially that second half, was urgency, and I felt McGregor was that sort of give and go player where he would play it and then try and get an option. I think that's what we lacked a bit last night, and I think that was just a direct comparison to Beaton, but I just thought McGregor probably done pretty well for the short space of time he was on. But on Rogic, I think he did hold on to the ball for far too long last night, and Brown done it as well. Brown got caught out a few times holding on to the ball for too long. But my worry with Rogic is, as well as it has been, he seems to last 60-70 minutes in an SPL game and 30 minutes in a Champions League game, because the same happened against Man City, and it's just, I mind looking at it when Gladbach had the corner and Rogic just looked exhausted, and it was first half, and it's starting to get a worry how it seems harsh because he's still a young midfielder, but he just doesn't seem to have the stamina to go any length of time at this level.
No, I think I agree with what you're saying. He does look kind of off the pace sometimes, like especially as the games wear on. But I don't think he was took off last night because he was tired. I think he was took off because he was rotten. I think he was hooked more than anything else. But I don't know. But he's 60 minutes of Rogic is better than 8 minutes of Rogic. I've always said, and I've no doubt he'll be back to his best soon. I just thought last night he did a really poor game. And it's not just the fans that get a reality check last night. I think Coffington did as well. We were beaten by a better team, and I think it's alright saying, "Oh, he's shite, this and that." We've agreed where players go wrong and stuff. Just need to accept it. We are going to have games like that. Gladbach, we have a team made enough. As it was reported, said, could have took more than 2 halves if Gordon didn't have a good game. Craig Gordon had a good game.
I think what you said earlier, Gordon has pretty much reaffirmed himself as the number one. In terms of reality check, I think it's just that's 2 out of the 3 games now we have played like the pot 14, and like you say, we're not entitled to go and challenge, but I don't know, last night was just, it did just bring you crashing down the earth, because it has, the first competitive game aside for Rodgers, it has just been an absolute honeymoon period for us, where we've just went from high to high to high.
Well, if you look at the Lincoln game, right, and you say, right, well, that was the first game, so we'll draw a line under it straight away. Apart from, that's only where, like, Beersheva, we get beat, but through, so you kind of, that's really only our second, well, fourth defeat of the season, right? But if you count the Lincoln game and just say, well, right, draw a line under it, and then the Beersheva game, we didn't really need to win, so we went through after getting beat, blah blah, bad performance, we spoke about it, whatever. But the Barca game, you just took, we're going to get beat, you know what I mean, it's kind of expected. Last night was the kind of first time where you thought, it's like the first game all season, but it's felt like a defeat, if that makes sense. Apart from the Lincoln game, you know what I mean, it's like the first time you feel deflated after a game under Rodgers, and like people are saying, "Oh, we'll be fine in that." Like, I know some people are kidding on. I know I was kidding on, but saying that Celtic will broke Man City, right? I just hope Gladbach haven't broken us. I just think, I know we'll talk about it later, but I just think Sunday becomes even bigger now because of last night. We've not got that good feeling anymore. No saying the honeymoon's off for Rodgers and whatever, he's under pressure now. That not at all. I mean, I'm not overreacting after the defeat, but I've just deflated, and I think I'd take a wee bit of, it's a perfect game to bounce back, like, get it right, but just a wee bit wide. I don't want to see us do what Man City have done.
I think it's just disappointing, because I was reading some stuff on Twitter last night, and there was a few people who were hitting it with stuff that was getting bandied about at the start of the campaign, where they're saying, "Oh, we're just happy to be here." That doesn't excite me. I'm not just delighted that we're in the Champions League. I want us to, like, my dream last night was for us to win and all but secure European football at Christmas. But I mean, who knows what might happen in the return game in Gladbach. But just a wee mention for another side, I actually thought that Forrest was quiet, but I'm not going to hold it against him because he's been in good form. But I thought Paddy Roberts was really good when he came on.
He was as good as it's been in a while. Still had beat a guy, got him back to beat him again. It was like watching you on FIFA. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, he's done enough to start on Sunday. I don't know. Like, I would play him, but I don't know. I really don't know, man. Like, the game is done at that point for me. So not that I stopped watching, but like players like Griffiths and the subs, like, to me, as soon as the first goal went in, and they didn't show any response 5 minutes later, I kind of thought I'd got to be here.
In terms of the campaign as a whole, would you see it as now? Is that as destined for bottom, or can you get any sort of revival?
No, I think we'll finish bottom probably with 1 point, and take it in the chin and move on. Take out Tony Mowbray. People, if you say it's alright saying, "Oh, we just want to be there," and that, we all want to see us have a go. But, we need to be realistic and say, it doesn't matter if we play our best. If Gladbach, City and Barca play their best, we'll probably end up with 8 points. We played well against City. We've still got a big night at Parkhead against Barca to come. We've still got to go to Gladbach. I mean, Gladbach, you never know. We could surprise them over there. But I always look at the Champions League as a kind of bonus to... Not a bonus as in terms of over there and enjoy it, but just a wee reminder to Rodgers that where he can go and where we need strength and stuff, we should be using these games as maybe not a measuring stick of how well Rodgers is doing, but because we're expected to lose these games, so every time we play them, he should be looking back and saying, well, how do we turn a 2-0 defeat at home to a depleted German team into a 1-0 win or a 2-0 win? Stuff like that. And I think we should be learning for these Champions League games. It's a bonus in the sense we're going to learn and we'll be ready, next year and in future. So if we finish with 1 point, people say, it's an embarrassment, whatever. To be honest, what these people expecting, if we were second in the group, they'd be moaning that we didn't win it. So I am looking at it as a Champions League as a bonus in terms of, if we win, like the City game, we're unlucky because the City game came just before an international break, so we didn't really get any time to build on it, which was a wee bit disappointing. But like the Barca games and stuff, you can build on them, you can, base your season. They'll not, put it this way, the Champions League will not define your season like Europe's done the last couple of years. Maybe that's, unfair on, certainly Lennon and Dylan the last couple of years, but it'll not define us this season, and it's a bonus. I'm not just happy to be there. You want to see us compete, but if, in the long term, if Rodgers can watch these 6 games again and say, this is where we need to improve for the future, then it can only be a good thing long term. Obviously, it doesn't feel good right enough today, but if we finish with 1 point, so be it. That to me, the season will be defined in other ways this year. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, yeah, pretty much agree with what he says. I think I'd love us to go and just stun Gladbach, and because the point remains, I think if we get a win, we just keep ourselves in it, because Barca looked to glass apart against City, and you never know what could happen. It's Champions League, it can happen. But I agree with you. Say our season won't be defined by this Champions League group. It might it'll be seen, one of the success factors will be seen as qualifying. I don't think much was I hate saying no much was expected, but we were the top 4 team, and I think if we look at where the top 4 teams have traditionally finished, it's usually bottom.
Aye. But as you said there, earlier, you were saying you've seen people saying I should just be happy to be here. That's not my point. My point is that it's got to be looked at as a bonus, no as in, we're just happy to be there, making money, and obviously everybody greeting, going on about how good the Celtic atmosphere is, not at all. But to me, it should always have been used as a yardstick for where Rodgers is trying to get us to be, and that, the benefits of that will only really be seen next year. So I'll judge this year's Champions League campaign next year when hopefully we're in it again. But nobody wants to see a team get beat all the time. I'd hope that we get a victory, somewhere along the line. I'd love to be in Europe after Christmas, but it's not looking likely at the minute. But so it's not.
We'll come back to Champions League in a future episode, I'm sure, but we will move on to this Sunday's League Cup Semi Final, where Celtic will play a team formerly known as Rangers. I know.
Sorry. It's not a team formerly known as Rangers, it's a new team we've never had one name. Keep me right, brother.
I know you're a Sevco sympathist, so much so that you've actually got yourself a ticket for the game. What are you thinking about it, and how happy are you to be going to see your beloved Sevco?
I'm only here to see the Sevco. South Stand Sevco Supporters Club. As I say, I tried to get a season ticket this year for Celtic. Just for make that clear. Didn't get one in the end. Bit of financial problems, whatever, but didn't get my ticket, and then I wanted the Champions League tickets and all, and didn't get them either. So I have been trying to get my Celtic games. Just happens to be that the first one will be Sunday. My sister got his tickets, I think. She get tickets, so she offered her favourite brother, her only brother, a chance to go there, so I was happy about that. I'm delighted to be going. I've not been to see Celtic in a while. The first time I was there, I was just thinking about it yesterday actually. Last time I was seeing Celtic doing it at next week Kilmarnock last year, so I'm hoping for a better performance this time, hopefully a couple of goals. But Sunday just gets even, but it's like people try and play it down and they're no our rivals and they're a new club and just look at the atmosphere before the game, just look at the atmosphere when Dembele was running riot, just look at the atmosphere after the game, just look at Twitter after the game. It brings out people, Polish don't like to do, brings out the worst in us, but brings out the best in us. And Sunday, after last night, Sunday just becomes huge because Celtic, you don't want Celtic to fall into error anywhere, you want them to come out. And I think it's just a perfect game. And do you know what, it gives them hope last night, you know what I mean? It's even better, it gives them a wee bit of hope that, you know what, a Celtic team can be got at, well, you know what I mean, they've not even got a player that would get into Gladbach's reserve team, never mind a first team, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's a chance for Celtic to, keep them down. Players like Dembele, Sinclair, I think they'll torment them for years to come, so it's just part of it, but hopefully it turns out to be the Canadian whitewash this year.
Aye, I hate to bring the mainstream media into this, but Keith Jackson said last night that any supporter of another Scottish team who is revelling or laughing at Celtic in the Champions League should remember that Celtic are miles ahead of them, absolute miles. And I says to you the other day that I think this was always the perfect game to come after Gladbach, because if we'd have got a result last night, we'd have been absolutely flying and we'd have took that in Hampden. But obviously we get beat, and now is the perfect time for us to go and absolutely put a show on at Hampden and show that we are the only team in the city, and just basically do what we know we're going to do.
No, I agree. Like it's just as you say, it sounds a wee bit kind of hypocritical. If we win, we'll be flying. If we get beat, it's a great chance to bounce back. Sounds a wee bit like Joey Barton. Joey Barton been suspended. It's like a new signing for Rangers, but I agree with you entirely. Like that's why I was saying about the Champions League. It's Stuart's chance to have luck ain't need it. So I think Sundays, as you say, is a massive game for that reason. They'll be up for it. Hopefully, I've getting quite just Hampden I'm worried about. I hate Hampden. Been to Hampden 4 or 5 times, and I think I've seen Celtic win the majority of the time now enough, luckily, but I think I've seen Celtic win 90 minutes at Hampden once, so hopefully that becomes number 2 on Sunday. But I think they will win. I think we are too good for them, and as I said today, it's all about us, it's all about Celtic. If Celtic turn up, they'll win, and that's the case now. And with other Rangers fans, they can talk about how they're going to struggle Celtic, blah blah. They'll play Holt, Halliday, Mundas. Nice, cool. Celtic turn up, usually get beat. That's just the fucking short end of it now. Celtic turn up any game in Scotland. Celtic turn up and play 60-70% of it they're capable of. They'll beat teams comfortably, and Rangers better hope their goalkeeper's in form, just like every other team Celtic did this season. The keeper seems to have saved their best day for against Celtic, so Rangers better hope that's the case on Sunday.
No, I think, like you say, it's if Celtic turn up, they will, but My only worry is that I think we were saying similar stuff in April, but I know that was a different manager, a different team. But I thought performances like last night were gone, but I think it just shows that if we turn up like that again, and I'm no doubt that we will, that we won't even, but if we turn up like we did last night, then you just invite it on to you, and that's exactly why we lost that semi-final in April, because we just didn't play our game. I think the main thing is we stick to what we've been so good at this season and just control it.
No, I agree, but last year was last year everybody was confident in April and stuff, but what we said to each other, like, we met the night before it and we were saying the big question was, will Celtic turn up? Will this Celtic team turn up now? It's a matter of, like, Celtic are just too good. So if Celtic turn up, they win. I mean, I think Will's kind of the same question, but we hadn't seen the Celtic team that we've seen this year. We've not hadn't seen that in a while. So you're like, if Celtic turn up, they'll win. But now you're saying, the way we've been playing this year, especially in the bigger games domestically, we've been spot on. And I don't think that's going to change on Sunday. Sure, say they are inviting it on, but the club's in a good state. Whether some people agree with it, I mean, people might not agree with it, but the club is in a good state. The fans are relatively happy. The club and the fans seem to be kind of more or less on the same page these days compared to last year. So the players seem to be playing for the manager, and the manager and that the fans are right behind the manager. I've got worries about Sunday because of Hampden, but and who the referee is. But by all means, all Celtic should win quite comfortably on Sunday, and we should be looking forward to the final come next month.
I think even more importantly as well, it's like you say, Gladbach winning last night, you hope it doesn't have that effect that our game against City had on them, because I'll walk on eggshells here, but say if the worst was to happen and it even went to extra time on Sunday, you've then got that, and like these games aren't going to stop coming, because we've got Ross County away, then Aberdeen away, and then back to Gladbach. Like, we need, in the 3 games, we really need to try and get some confidence and form back, just so we can go to Germany with a bit of belief that we can go there.
See, I woke up this morning and convinced myself we're going to win in Gladbach. Don't ask why, because I've not really got an answer. I just thought maybe we'd turn the tables on them, but I think we need to look at it differently. And you say build confidence in Gladbach. I think in terms it doesn't really matter what confidence we bring into these games, you know what I mean? Because that's where we're tested. But for me, winning Sunday and then take care of league business, I'd love to see us go through the league season unbeaten. I've said that before, but I think if we can go up with Aberdeen and win, we're stretching ourselves away from them. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a couple of games in hand now, so we could be well clear pretty soon. You know what I mean? We could be even clearer pretty soon, and then you can start looking forward to cup competitions and that. But it's a tough month. You know what I mean? November and December are going to be pretty tough for Celtic. So we all know that. So really, I would say our most important stretch of season starts on Sunday.
And would you make any changes for Sunday?
I don't know. I was going to ask you the same question. I'm a wee bit. I'd play Roberts for Forest, I think.
I'd play Roberts for Forest, but I've also got... It's a double-edged sword, because I really think it'd be a game made for Big Josel, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to drop Toure. But even, I don't know if it was just me, I don't know if they picked up on the telly, but Toure seemed to be limping a bit the last 10-15 minutes.
Oh, aye.
Like,
it seemed to be entered me steady.
And I've just got visions of fucking Simonovic getting through that wee Garner cunt and just leaving him in a heat, and I think that'd be the perfect, because I think Big Josel's sort of missed out in these bigger games so far, and it'd be a good one to, obviously the level of opposition's not a big test, but it is a big occasion, and I think it's just a good one to throw him into.
as you say, right, Big Jojo's missed out on these games. If I didn't really made a difference in any of them, though, you know.
Well, you say that,
So,
but remember his debut came on against, he played against Ajax, and he played really well that night.
but I don't think he would have made a difference against Gladbach or Bayern Munich, Barcelona, City, or even Rangers. I like him, I just don't think he'd make much of a difference. I think, although I could see him playing on Sunday, like, I would play Toure a wee bit like the Gamboa thing against Barcelona. People say, no, it's important he plays. I'd like to see him stick with Toure as a wee bit of confidence. Seems to trust him, obviously, but if Toure did look unfit last night for an awful lot of the game, so whether he makes it or not is a different story, but I would have no qualms if George was in the team. I'd like to see Roberts go on. I did think Roberts was bright last night. It's just, I don't know, we're 2-0 down, and I was wanting to see him get the ball in the box rather than try and beat men for fun all the time, but I would play him. Forrest for me, so I thought he was great on Saturday, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to see Roberts in. I
just think that big Camden pitch suits Roberts a lot better than Forrest as well, because Forrest is a bit reluctant to take on a man at times, and he likes to cut in, whereas Roberts is that bit more direct. And
no, see, I agree. I see them differently. I see Forrest more direct. As if he'll get the ball and go to the byline, and I think Forrest is a bit quicker than Roberts. I don't think Roberts uses his pace. If you know what, Roberts frustrates me. I like him. I think he's a great player, but he frustrates me an awful lot. I think he could do a lot more. And one thing he's got going for him is I didn't think Forrest was very good against him the last time. I don't think he had a bad game. I just thought he could have been a lot better, and I think last night Forrest was pretty poor. I thought he had a wee bit bigger pitch suits a mid-direct runner, and I think that's Forrest, but I would play Roberts for the sense. I think he's got to be gunning for them. But then, I don't know, does he keep Rogic in the team? I mean, they're on Saturday against Motherwell. Roberts played in the middle for a wee while, so, I mean, I don't know. He might. I've got a weird theory of 4-4-2 and that Rogic play Griffiths up front, but with Dembele, but I don't know.
I've got that same. I don't even know if it's 4-4-2, but I think Rogic might miss it, and I would be heartbroken for him because I thought he was unlucky to miss out in the last semi-final with his son. But my theory is Dembele was dropping deep a lot last night, and every time he did, Sinclair would move in the middle, and I just wonder if that's maybe if he would go with like Forrest, Sinclair and Roberts on the team just to absolutely go gunning for them, and I don't know.
I don't know, I mean, I could see him playing Roberts in one, but my theory before I asked Old Firm was he was, Old Firm, whatever, before people get in their pants and stuff. My theory was that he was going to play Forrest, Roberts and Sinclair, and then Bellis with a hat-trick, so I don't really want to predict the team. But I've just got a weird theory. I've just got a weird feeling he'll play kind of 4-2-4, which might work against us, especially in midfield if he plays Brown and Tony together. I think he might play Griffiths. I don't know why, sorry, but I just think he'll play Griffiths. I think Griffiths is going to get a start. I don't know if that means maybe play Griffiths after right or whatever, but I don't know. I just think he's going to play Griffiths.
I think that would be, like, obviously every player should be up for it, but I think Griffiths, because he missed out that one in September, and Roberts for obvious reasons, I think it would be perfect to throw they two in, because it would be absolutely gunning for him.
I think like Griffiths has got to be up for it. Like, you see Griffiths, he wants to play these games, and it seemed a wee bit.
As much as we're saying that, as much as I'm saying there, like, Griffiths will be gunning for him, Griffiths will be desperate to get his place back in the team.
Oh, aye. Definitely. But the way I look at it, I think, I don't know, maybe the team just needs freshened up a wee bit. I wouldn't say like drop Dembele or anything like that, or Sinclair. I think Dembele and Sinclair are kind of first two names of the team sheet, but I don't know. I think he might play Griffiths. Well, Griffiths was dropping deep last night when he came on and all, so he might play Griffiths behind the bit. I think they could be doing a wee freshen up in there, and I think players like Rogic and that, Rogic can be used off the bench. See, I don't think, as much as this might sound daft, I don't think Griffiths is an impact player. Like, I know he came off the bench and scored a hat-trick a couple of years ago and that, but I just don't, like, when he comes off the bench, like, the last couple of times he's done it, I don't think he's added anything. So, I think he might start him and then look to bring Rogic. Like, see the way he did with Armstrong the last game, I think he might do that with Rogic this time.
Aye. Give me a score prediction.
I think Celtic will win 3-0. I think it'll be, they'll start early, they'll maybe be one or two up early, I think. And then add a third later on. But I think the biggest worry is the Hampden pitch. The players seem to, I don't know what it is, for Celtic, they seem to just hate playing at Hampden. If they can play at Hampden, and more importantly, just get by the occasion. Like, because as much as people want to remind you about April, Celtic took their chances to win convincingly. So let's just win. Let's be honest, just win.
I think I'd take a 1-0 on you, but I think we might put a few past them again. I'm going to go 4-0. I think that Scott Sinclair's going to get a few. So you get anything else you want to add before we head off?
No, I mean, just looking forward to Sunday. It'd be good to get back to the Celtic game. Hopefully the first of many I'm at this year. And if all goes well, we'll be looking forward to the first of what we hope are two finals, 3 trophies this season.
Aye, hopefully. I don't want to jinx a treble because I've done it under Dyla twice. But we'll see. Aye. Remember, you can always find a load of great podcasts on Hail Media, including ours. There's a load of good ones on there. And we will be back almost certainly after the semi-final, unless we get beat when we might go into hiding, but don't tell anybody. But no, we will be back next week. And if you've made it this far, you can follow the podcast, of course, at Respect the Pod on Twitter. And if you've made it this far, we've got nothing but respect for you. Cheers for listening. Hello.
Hello.